y'all, it is Hope at Crafty Hope here, and welcome to my ICAD number 30. Um, so this is about the halfway point for ICAD, so I've got, another 30 or so coming. If you don't know what ICAD is, it is a mixed media challenge. ICAD stands for Index Card a Day. Daisy Yellow founded this. I've got information about it below, but basically there are some prompts that you can choose to use or not use from Tammy of Daisy Yellow, as well as my friend Nina Fickett had some mixed media prompts as well. So today the two prompts were pastel and highlighter, which are so opposing. I was like, I don't even know how I'm going to make this work, but I do. I kind of showed you that I had some actual like soft pastels and not pastel colors. And then some highlighters that I'm going to try to work into this. Now, what I tend to do with my ICADs is start with my 3x5 index card and collage. And y'all see that array of just different papers and things I am throwing down on there with my Oohoo glue stick. Yeah, I'm just getting some stuff down. I think, still grappling with what I was going to do with those materials. And so I was using up some time. This is one of my longer ICADs, but it's also, I really, really like how this one comes together. All right, so I have pulled out some soft pastels. These are just a set that I got, I think, at Hobby Lobby. It's their brand. And I am putting down some kind of dark, smoky colored pastels and using a wet paintbrush to kind of pull them out. It doesn't work great, but I have seen, I think it's Robin Marie Smith, several times use pastel in the most exquisite manner. And so I'm trying to emulate her a little and get some pastels down and wet them, but it works, but it's just, it's a technique I need to continue to work with. And y'all, look at that. I've just about covered that whole card with the pastels, but that's okay. A lot of times I tend to cover the whole card with with gesso. So I guess it's not a big difference. So now I've got this wet card covered in pastels. I'm gonna, just keep adding to it. I think here I was trying to take away some of the lines of the collaged materials so that you don't see that they're so disconnected. So I think that's all I was trying to do here, was get some of those to join up. And again, more water, trying to get it to move. And at some point, I think I'm going to try drying this. Am I? Yeah. So I'm going to dry that. That is, and I don't know how I cut that out, but that is a Lyra graphite. That's not a Lyra. I'm sorry. That is a graphite stick, like the Lyras. This one I found at the Dollar Tree forever ago. And so I just kind of splashed it down and then added a little bit more grungy in a couple spots to, again, cover up some of the lines and the white and all of that. And this gives this card a super grungy feel. So I am, just going to town with that. And I'm going to dry again. Now I've got that's a Sharpie water-based paint marker that I kind of splooshed out and then am using, I'm just trying to like splatter with it. You see, I'm getting it to kind of ink out from there, and I'm picking up some of that and just splattering it. And it makes some of the most opaque splatters I've ever had on anything before. So yeah, this is something I'll probably be using again. It's sweet. All right, so this was something I just wanted to try. I am taking some just plain old white tissue paper and then my highlighter. This is just, I think, a cheap highlighter probably from the dollar store that I am going to draw some botanicals with onto the tissue paper. So I'm going to do a couple, I think like 3 of them here. And I did put something underneath my tissue paper because I knew that highlighter was going to go straight through that tissue paper. And it does. Excuse me for the ums. If y'all have watched a couple of my other videos, I had a couple of them where I had the worst case of the ums. And I really, I'm working on it, y'all. I'm still trying to get my see, there it is again. Trying to get my flow when it comes to these videos. So I was being experimental with this one, and once I got my botanicals drawn, I'm just going to tear them out. And I think the first one, I'm actually going to use like the water technique to go around it to get kind of the soft torn effect. Yeah, this one here. I start to tear it and I'm like, oh no, I can just use a wet paintbrush and go around it. And I was trying to keep from touching the, what do you call it, the highlighter, because I was afraid that would run. And I didn't want that to happen. Now, like I said, this was totally experimental, all of it, and it doesn't work out great at all. It may be something I try with something other than highlighter later, but this particular way didn't do great. So I've got liquid gel medium there, which I'm using because oftentimes with like tissue paper or napkins or deli paper or something like that, it makes that material just kind of meld into the background, and just your whatever it is they're trying to display is what shows. So I'm doing that to try to make the tissue paper disappear and just the highlighter part stand out, which is kind of silly because I could have just drawn on there with the highlighter. So yeah. So my first layer of tissue paper, the highlighter didn't really show up, so I decided to just layer all three of these painted botanicals on top of each other to see if they kind of look like maybe like a cluster. They don't, spoiler. They do not look like a cluster of anything. They look like a scribble in the end. But it's kind of neat. It does have that pop of yellow if you're looking for it. Something else I put on the card in a minute really becomes the focal to this, and this yellow highlighter just becomes kind of an accent. And it's fine. I didn't need it to be a focal, but I did get this prompt on the card. So that's, hey, I did that and I've got my pastels on there. So I've met the criteria, or not the criteria, I've met the prompts for this. So here's the last one that I'm laying on there. And I think even, I'm not positive if the highlighter bleeds or not. It's so hard to tell once I get it down what is going on there. Like you can barely see the shape of anything. So, but I did it, like I said. And that's kind of the point of art, is just get in there and do it and try things and experiment, because you'll never know. Um, you'll never know what you can achieve if you don't even try it. So try it. Go out, try something. All right, so I'm adding a little bit more of that graphite, that wet graphite stick onto the card, trying to integrate some of that tissue paper there, I think. And I wanted to, I don't know, I wanted some texture on there. So I pulled out this piece of eco dyed fabric, I think is what it is. And I'm looking for some other things. I think I pull out, yeah. I've got some pieces of, that's it there, pieces of a rag rug that I've pulled apart. I did it a couple years ago, but DD Catron has recently kind of had a resurgence of people pulling apart rag rugs to get fibers, and y'all, it's so much fun to do. So you can see, I think DD's got it on her Instagram where you can see what all she gets from it, but a lot of people have been using those. So anyway, I took those two little things to my sewing machine, kind of ruffled it all together, and I grabbed a piece. I actually had some of the exact matching embroidery floss of that little fuchsia snippet on my desk. I don't even know how that, well, I do know. I was making some tassels with that color, but it's just funny that those two colors happen to be there. So I quickly sewed on a little mother of pearl button that I can't remember if it was on my desk or if I just grabbed it from my button collection across the room. But I sewed that on real quick, and then I'm going to make a few little stitchy marks with the embroidery floss on that ruffled fabric, just to kind of bring out that pop of color. And I kind of wanted it to look like the that bigger piece of fabric was kind of trailing these little marks since they were the same color. So, and it gives a pop of color to that, ah, words, y'all, words, to that eco dyed fabric. So I guess I'm kind of like almost slow stitching on there. I guess that's what I pretty much did. All right, so that's getting pretty close to where I'm deciding I'm done. I just want to make sure all of that was peeking out from underneath that fuchsia fabric. Yeah, see how I'm just slow stitching, just moving my needle up and down, which is so meditative and almost therapeutic to just sit there and pass a needle back and forth through a piece of fabric. Or fabric's the easiest. I wouldn't say paper is really easy to slow stitch, but all right, so I'm taking a look at it. I decide that I like it, so I'm going to, I don't know, do I even tie that? Yeah, I clipped it, and then I'm pulling some of the threads apart and making a quick double knot just to secure it, because I'm going to pull out some matte gel medium to stick that down. I don't really need to be super fussy with how that knot is. So, and y'all, this is like my favorite part of this thing is, I work so hard with my pastels and with the highlighter and all of that, but really it's this fabric doodle is the best way to call it, because I've just kind of stacked all of these like fabric and notions and everything on here that I love it. Love it. So I used a palette knife to spread out my matte gel medium. That, y'all, has been such a lifesaver lately. The paintbrushes just weren't working for me. And then I've got this tin of different words I've snipped from journals, and I'm going to try a couple. And I've got one that says, show me your new tricks, which I thought, I don't know, something about that just like tickles me. And since it is a couple of techniques I haven't done before, it felt kind of right with this card. So I can't remember what I used to stick it down. I'm going to try it out in a couple places, but really it just looks best right there on that. And yep, I'm going to use my Oohoo glue stick and stick it down. And I think that's going to be it, y'all. I think actually I'm going to go around the edges of the card with some more of that graphite stick to just kind of frame it up. And that's going to be it, y'all. So, I hope you enjoyed this. Let me know if you have any questions. Thank you so very much for coming over and watching this and putting up with my blathering and my working on my ums. And I hope you have a beautiful day. Thanks for watching. Keep on crafting on. Bye.